Hi guys, Raza here from Fine Focus Films, and today we are here at Zoo Negara and we are going to find out, are animals happy or sad here? So let's go and find out. So before we move on, I just want to give you a short kind of disclaimer here that I do not promote the zoos, or I'm not trying to promote the zoo. So there are some exceptions when it comes to the zoo, and there are some zoos which are doing very great job. They do a lot of conservation work like San Diego Zoo or Chester Zoo or other zoos in the world, even Singapore Zoo. Even this zoo also has an open zoo concept. So not all the animals or all the species are fit to stay in the zoo. And the other thing is that, which concerns the most, is that not all the zoos fit the criteria and not all the species fit the criteria to be kept in the zoos. So this zoo here is like a nice open zoo, and let's go and find out that are animals happy or sad here. So we got these spotted deers here, and their enclosure is not very big, and that's the only thing I would say. And I guess it's quite hot time of the day, but it's still cloudy, and they're all sitting at same place where they are being fed, and there are so many in numbers. So I cannot say for sure that they look happy. They look okay. They were not sad because they were resting. We got lion here in this area. Usually lion sleeps for very long hours in the day, like 15, 16 hours they sleep, or they need a lot of sleep. But there's one male lion I can see and it's sleeping. No, the area looks good enough. They got a nice open area with water in between. It's like a water wall kind of thing, and then they have an electric fence there. So it looks okay and it looks good. But for lion, this area is like very small. If you have seen the other zoos, so they have bigger areas for lions. Next to the lion is the tigers enclave, and it's the daytime. Tigers are sleeping. I'll try to get some footage when they're awake, and I'll try to embed in this video, so you can see the tigers. So here we have a white tiger, and there's a common misconception that white tiger or albino tiger is some kind of separate species of tiger. No, it is not. It's basically a genetic disorder. They got here 3 different tiger enclosures, and they got Malayan tiger, Bengal tiger, and one is a white Bengal tiger. As I said earlier, that white tiger is not a separate species. So the enclosures are good enough. They got small window walls, and behind the window wall there is an electric fence, and next to electric fence there's kind of a water pond, and after the pond is the area where the tigers are, and there's some good nice enrichment as well to keep the tigers busy. And obviously we know that tiger has a huge area. They live like in a 200 square kilometers of area. They have a huge range, but inside a zoo it's different. So enrichments can make them kind of happy or occupied, you can say. So the tigers look okay as well, and they look healthy. That's a good thing. So Malayan tigers and Bengal tigers, so for them this is like not a different habitat, because they usually live in such kind of environment and in such kind of atmosphere in habitats. So this area and this weather is not different for them. So we got one thing here, which is like cow, which is like kind of a wide bull or cow, usually found in the Southeast Asian habitats or habitats in Southeast Asia, like rainforest. So they are like endemic to these areas, you can say, bunting. So their enclosure looks okay, and they look happy. It's okay for them. So here they got elephants, and it's a quite big enclosure, as you can see from the video, that how far am I standing, and I can see the elephants. So there are a lot of enrichments there as well, and it's a big area for elephants, and they are busy in looking for food, and they look happy, they're active. So it's a good thing, and they got a nice space to move around, and a water pond as well, and other things. So the elephants look okay and happy. So here is the binturong. I guess I pronounced the name okay. So it's a kind of endemic species to Southeast Asian rainforest, or Borneo, or Indonesia and Malaysia. So they got a nice, good enclave here, and nice enrichments there. So there are 3 of them, and they're playing around, eating around, and they look happy, and it's good, and the environment as well for these Southeast Asian species is not new. So it's like the same atmosphere and environment for them. So here we are. We are going to go inside, and inside are my favorite species, pandas. And the temperature is being controlled. It's made cold for pandas, so they may feel like in their normal temperature what the temperature is in their natural habitat. So let's go and see how the pandas are inside. Coming out of the panda enclosure, and I have to say that this is the best attraction at Zoo Negara. The indoor panda enclave is the best, and the pandas were very happy. They were active. There are a lot of enrichments. The temperature was cold, and it looks like a very expensive as well. All the structure and building and controlled temperature and everything. So it was the best so far, the panda enclave. Here we are at the ape center. On my left side, you can see the chimpanzees. On the other side are the orangutans, and if you haven't seen my orangutan video from Sabah, in which I've shown the mating behaviors of orangutan, you can see up there in the link in the description. So here we have chimpanzees and orangutans. The enclosures are good. There's a lot of enrichment, and then they have given the name. They're like families. So there is a chimpanzee family. On the other side is the orangutan family, and they have the names. We have the Sumatran orangutans and the Bornean orangutans, and then we have the chimpanzees on this side. So it's a well-managed space, well-managed enclave. As I said, a lot of enrichment, so it's a good one. We are here in this enclosure, and this is a big enclosure. They got ostrich here, they got zebras, they got giraffes. So it's a common enclosure with a nice viewpoint on a height. So you climb the stairs, you go up, and you see around. Let me show you around from this camera as well, so you can see around. So this is what they have here. And I can see the zebras in front of me. So this is a very good enclosure. And next to the zebras, there's a rhinos. We'll go there shortly. I really like this one. They made it look like an African savannah. In one enclave, there are giraffes, zebras, and ostrich. They all coexist in the same enclave, and it's a big enclave. And they make it look like an African savannah. And this one and the panda one are 2 top one for me so far. this was the African savannah, and it was very good. So for now, for me, the panda was the number one, and this savannah was number two. And these were southern white rhinos or southern white rhinoceros here, and they were in good condition, healthy, a lot of enrichments, and this African savannah is the largest enclave, I guess, of all the species here. As you can see behind my back, it's a very tight and fully closed cage, and inside the cage is what they call is a black panther. So first of all, there's a correction. There's no such thing as it's a name. It's not a separate species. So either it may be leopards or jaguars, which have this mineralistic color variant, and then they are being bred to produce more of their mineralistic color variant species. So it's either jaguars or leopard, the American, South American jaguars, or the Asian or African leopards. So due to this mineralistic color variant, they turn black, and they are called as black panther. So they're not a separate species. And if you can see here, it's a closed cage and very tight cage, and you can see. So I don't like this. It should be released back in the wild. It is such good to see that they have a nice African savannah, and panda and some species are very good. So they need not to have all the species in the world in this zoo. Especially, I'm really heartbroken about the puma and this black panther as well. It's maybe a leopard or a jaguar. So I don't like it. This is a closed, very tight cage, and it cannot move, and it's sitting in a place. Even with my other camera, I cannot get a good shot of it. So it should be released back in the wild. Something I didn't like here, and then you already saw that there's a leopard, there's a caracal, which I didn't see. I don't know if they have it or not. Then there's this serval cat, and then there is this jaguar or leopard, which they call black panther. So they all are in tight cages, and they do not have enough space to move around. And I guess they should be released back in the wild because they don't belong here, and they are not being very well taken care of, and they look very sad, and they're not happy here. So you need not to have, as I said, you need not to have all the species in the world in your zoo. A few species well taken care of can be a good step. I got here wallaby and the antelope. So the area is nice and okay. So this is the bear complex, and it's written that there are brown bears, but I did not see any brown bears. And then there are sun bears, which are okay. Their enclave is divided into two parts. On the other parts, maybe there are the younger sun bears, and on the other side are the adult sun bears. So there are only two sun bears, and they look okay. And in my film in Sabah, I did on sun bears, the documentary film. I have uploaded a video of sun bears eating skills, that how they eat. You can see the video right up here. So here we have the Indian gaur, which is in a larger area compared to other species, especially leopards and jaguar, which they call the black panther. So these are in a wider area, and they look very happy. It looks like a very kind of natural habitat. Lot of green here around, and then they're feeding and they're eating, and this one looks okay. This one looks good. Next to the Indian gaur is the capybara, and capybara was feeding. There's only one capybara, a nice compact area, but it's okay. It's a smaller species, and these are the species for which we can have exceptions. But then again, my mind is still stuck on that leopard thing I saw, that serval cat I saw there, and the jaguar. So I'm really hurt for those species, and those big cats should be released back in the wild. On my left is the false gharials, and they are in a very small area, as you can see. And on my right hand side are the hippopotamus, the Nile hippos. So I said earlier, I don't want to show you this area But here are these cages, and inside the cages are these rhesus macaques, the common macaques. And why you need them here? They're such better and good species already here. The panda is such a nice attraction. The zebra, the giraffe, they're a very nice attraction. Then you have tigers as well, and the other species. So why you need these cages here? And this is what I object and I oppose, that there should not be these caged animals in the zoos. Even with the bigger area, like the apes, we saw the apes has a nice open area, so they are okay. But there's a gaboon, there's a macaque, and then there's a lemur also. So I do not support this tight cages and closed cages. So these are some of the species which should be released back in the wild, or should be given a better area. As I just walked past by, I saw some good things and some bad things as well. So first, the good thing, they've got a nice big area which is an animal hospital, veterinary hospital for the animals. It's a big hospital. It looks like a big building. You cannot go inside, but it looks like a nice big building. And the other good thing is a lot of staff here around looking after the area, the zoo, and animals as well. The bad thing which I don't like here is these cages. I saw this gaboon and these other smaller monkeys here, which are kept in cages. That's the end of the trip, and I wanted to talk about the good things and the bad things. So first, the good things. The good things is the panda enclave is very, very good, and it's the #1 attraction. The #2 is African savannah. This is also very, very good attraction here. And then the negative thing are very closed, compact cages for leopards, for cheetahs. Even the lion is not happy. So and the cages for monkeys, the cage for lemur, cage for gaboon. So these are very closed and compact cages, and this is what I do not support. So there are some exceptions. Some of the species can be kept in the zoo and can be very well taken care of. And for other species, I would say they should be released back in the wild, because they're not happy here and they're actually living in the cages. I hope you like the video and do comment.